How about the rest of you? How's your performance? How's everything? $149.25. Let's see. I passed my phase one of the year last week. Nice one. If I were to place my stop, so assume if it's short at 149.25. So let's say here. My stop loss would normally, let me see if there's any reference point. Yeah, it will be just right above this high here. So, but that's pretty wide. Let me go down onto the lower time frame. But I personally, I told you, all right, I'm not really shorting into dollar yen because I'm waiting for a larger retracement. And one thing about the yen pairs is the volatility is quite high. Although it doesn't seem like price is moving along. Um, but if you measure the size of the range of each candle is actually pretty wide. You see, very easily you have 30 pip, 50 pip stops. So if I were to place my stop, it will be based on some of these high here. But that again would be very wide as well. So Nabil say, also EJT, what's your name on Telegram again? EJT. So watching video lessons new here. Oh yeah, okay, I remember you. So Jin T, okay, I remember you. So take your time, Bryce. Any question, just let me know, EJT. So Bryce, performance still okay. Took 3 trades, 1 win, 2 loss, about 2.4 hour, very good. So Nabil say Neo Eason DXY showing exhaustions. You mean this area? You mean this one? This is the entire thing? But not really as well. Just one exhaustions pattern doesn't mean anything to me. The key thing is we've been calling the XY weakness, right? Since that 109.20 level, and it's been dropping very strongly. See, it dropped, broke below that 107.4, continue dropping, showing more signs of weakness. So some of these exhaustion doesn't really matter to me because price won't just drop in a straight line, right? It would definitely have some pullback, then continuation to the downside. So some of the resistance I can see for now is 104.70. And let's just market this one here at 105.90. So which is good. If the XY pulls back, it also shows that there's possible long opportunity on pound dollar, euro dollar. Just please don't touch Aussie dollar. And just please don't touch Aussie dollar. This kangaroo coin is not moving, and I'm not going to trade Aussie dollar for some time. Okay, I personally have, we just had 2 attempts, because one is more of a swing on my swing account, so I don't really separate it as a different setup. So it's basically the same thing. Took 2 losses on Aussie dollar. One of my swing account got trailed out, spit out quite a lot of profits as well. So yeah, again, if you look at pound dollar and euro dollar, we had some pullback in the past 2 days, right? Just some tiny pullback here causes a lot of weakness on the Aussie dollar. So we can just say that pullback on GU and EU was also caused by this pullback here on the DXY. Just a little bit of pullback on the DXY, Aussie dollar completely dropped from the high to low, not even reaching the high here. You see, I have my alert set at 0.64, and it couldn't even hit that 0.64. We just started reversing. So it shows how weak Aussie dollar is. Just please don't touch Aussie dollar anymore. There's no more attempt on this one. Yeah. So yes, the angle becomes low. Yes, correct. That's a sign of exhaustion. Many say only back testing, but I took 2 forward trades. Thought pound dollar had a good selling opportunity. You mean where? You mean short at this area? For many, yeah. Social thing, Kiwi dollar does looks like potential. Here comes New Zealand. Here comes New Zealand again. So New Zealand, I'm going to New Zealand on September anyway. So New Zealand dollar does looks like potential long opportunity though at a BNR zone. Let me see. When that's shown wrong, New Zealand dollar gets to shine. Okay, let's go to the daily on, yeah. Yeah, you can call it BNR. You can call it BNR. I think you are referring to this zone, right? Is it? Hey, wait, long opportunity? You mean here? It's sort of we sort of broke below the zone though. Sheng Rong. Yeah, I don't really call this a BNR. 4 hour. Mm, not really as well. It seems quite weak. Yeah, it seems quite weak to me because we basically just failed at this key level here at 0.5782. So I personally wouldn't really call this a BNR. And it seems to me that both Kiwi and Aussie are quite weak. Okay. So it seems to me that this entire thing is just some consolidation. Yeah. So Stephen asked, kind of just for educational purposes, would like to see your thought process for both pound Aussie and gold last Friday on the TPF short on the shoulder. Let me see. Pound Aussie and gold. I'll just go through Stephen's Q&A and then we'll just begin our weekly session. So I don't want to go through all of the questions before we actually begin the session. So ZGA, let's see the 1 hour. Yep, you mean here, right? Is it? I can see an immediate TPF here. I don't really call this a TPF. It's not so clear. This is more of a key level rejection. That's it. When I see a TPF, I really want to see a very clear head and a shoulder. This one seems to me is just some fake out, a very long week, and then we close back down. Unless you say you're referring to the lower time frame, then potentially you can see a TPF maybe on a 5 minute. Yeah. But this is just a key level rejection. 2.05. You mean wait, 2 point last Friday? You mean what's the date? Can you let me know what's the date to be specific? So and go last Friday. Anyway, I'll skip the question for now. I'll get back to your question later, Stephen. Let's just go through full market breakdown first before we go into Q&As. So this upcoming week, good thing is we don't have a lot of news. So PMI is not something I will avoid. Tuesday, nothing much. Wednesday, we got pound CPI, Aussie CPI. So these are two high impact one. Annual budget release, obviously, also a high impact one. Final GDP on Thursday, but you can just say for the entire week, the only dollar news that we don't want to get involved is the final GDP. Besides that, just some pound news, some Aussie news, which is okay. So let's have a look at the DXY. So I roughly talked about the DXY earlier. So let me just go into the whole thing again. So why am I still bearish on DXY? It is actually based on our analysis since a long time ago. If you've been here since January, then you pretty much know we started calling DXY bears, DXY bearish since that failure at 109.20. When DXY keep failing at that 109.20, it was already a key sign of TPF for us. So nice reversal here. Strong rejection. We have one large candle here attempting to break above that 109.20. We still failed. Close below. Then we got more continuation to the downside. And we got more weakness. And that's basically it. And that's one of the key reasons why we've been saying that DXY is bearish, and many of you will have been able to capture really good longs on pound dollar, right? Some of you even flipped your account shorting dollar yen. From the top here we have a TPF, right? If all of you still remember, We have a nice TPF here that we call, and we basically just keep dropping lower. Many of you were able to capture this, and we also have one BNR here and a continuation to the downside. So DXY is still bearish to me. Overall, it's very bearish, and I don't think we are seeing any structure shift. Just now, one of our trader, Nabil, he asked me, was this an exhaustion? Yes, it was indeed an exhaustion. But in terms of the overall market structure, it's still clearly bearish. DXY could pull back into 104.73 and continue pushing lower, or pull back a little bit deeper into 105.86 and still continue pushing lower. So we don't really, I personally don't really like to be too precise on DXY, because whenever you get too cherry picky on DXY, it tends to affect your decision-making process on the actual setup that you trade on the FX pair. That's why I prefer to just, if I know DXY is bearish, that's it, okay? If I know DXY seems like it's pulling back, that's all the information that I need. I don't need to know exactly when will it start turning. All I need to know is if DXY, if the structure is still bearish. If yes, then there's nothing wrong, continue going long on these cross dollar pairs. All I need to do is to stick to my pattern. So DXY is bearish. I believe we will potentially see a bit more pullback on the DXY into either 104.60, which is here, or a little bit higher into 105.88. So before the next wave down. JPYX is a little bit more mixed, but for some of you who texted me personally, I've already said, overall, I am still fairly bullish on the JPYX. Why? Because some of you asked me, hey, since JPYX has already failed at this 764, does that mean we are reversing bearish? Not really as well. When it comes to assessing the market structure of a specific pair or whatever, what's the criteria of an uptrend? I just want to ask all of you a quick question. For example, what makes you think it's an uptrend? What makes you think it's a downtrend? Yeah, Shengrong say hi, hello. That's the simple logic, right? So when you're assessing the market structure or slash the market direction, just because price failed at the resistance, does that really mean we are reversing? Not really, because what tells an uptrend? Hi, hello. And that's why I always talk about the importance of having an invalidation point, right? Every trade idea, every thesis that you construct, all you need to do is you have a baseline or so-called invalidation point. Until you see price closes below, the entire market structure, the direction is still intact. So there's no point saying that, oh, JPYX is failing at the resistance, that's why it's bearish. Not really as well. Short term, yes, but there are a lot of times where price can reject here and just immediately continue pushing higher. If that's the way, you're just confusing yourself. So to me, we've been saying that as long as the JPYX is still holding above that 746, it is still bullish. And that's why many of us, we've been shorting the cross yens, right? Although pound yen, euro yen, they're still ranging, Aussie yen is dropping very nicely because of the Aussie weakness. We'll go into that later on. So previously when JPYX failed at this area, at this high at 764, when it pulled back deep into 746, I still say it's bullish. It's bullish. It's bullish. Right now, yes, price indeed rejected at this resistance against at 764, and it come back quite steep. But again, it is still bullish unless we see price breaks below. Otherwise, it's still bullish. So there's no point. There's really no need to confuse yourself by constantly asking yourself, what's the direction? What's the direction? Have an invalidation point there to assist you to better understand until what extent you will still consider this an uptrend. If it crosses this level, it's bearish. That's it. So let's talk about the potential setup first. Then I'll talk about gold. I'll talk about the MNQ for some of you. So some of the two key setups that I'm looking to trade, still first thing, dollar yen. But as I shared with you all, dollar yen, there's two potential entry. First one is obviously the one that I've been waiting for almost 2-3 weeks, but price seems like it's still slowing down, it's still consolidating. I'm looking to get in around 150, 170. And why? Purely because the price position is very good and it fits our criteria so well. If it does pull back into 151 70 area, this just gives me such a good price position to go short. Risk reward is pretty nice as well. Okay, that's the key reason why I've been waiting for an entry at 151 70. But in our setups breakdown this week, I also say that there's another potential entry, which is right here. Let's go to the 8-hour. So if you look at the 8-hour, as much as I'm looking for a deeper retracement into 151.70, but price have indeed already formed a BOS, right? So when price have already broken below this key swing low here, quite a significant level at 149.46, there is no guarantee that price will come back to 151.70 anymore. That's why in our breakdown, I told some of you, I say, hey, if you want to go short, if you're confident on dollar yen, you can also have an attempt at 149.30, because there's always a chance where price will just continue to drop from here. But just for personal preference, I still prefer waiting for a deeper retracement. That's it. So it is entirely up to you whether if you want to short it a little bit lower, 149.35 or 25, let's put it 30, or you want to, again, be like me, wait for a larger retracement because I'm a little bit more picky on my entry. So that's it for dollar yen. We talked about this multiple times, so I don't need to spend too much time on this. Aussie yen, I'll roughly go through why am I actually stopped. I actually stopped watching Aussie dollar since Thursday, Friday, and I just want to focus on Aussie yen, the yen pairs. So if you look at the daily on Aussie yen, again, if you've been here for some time, since January or December, then you pretty much know that we talk about this TPF here at 99 level. Since price failed at this 99 level, we pretty much just go into a very clean downtrend. And yeah, you see one lower high here formed. So lower high means from here to here, lower high. Second lower high, and we have a third lower high. So market structure is very intact. It's overall still bearish, and I'm expecting further downside. If you just pay attention to the most recent swing high here, it was nothing. Price actually just came back to retest this swing low. This support now turned resistance at 95.67. That's it. Because one of our trader, he actually did this long. So there's nothing wrong with this setup. Just want to let all of you know. But one of our trader actually go long like this week. And there's nothing wrong with this long position because he was simply looking at the more of a lower time frame shift in structure, and he's looking for a BNR. But when I was discussing this setup with him, I told him that the main reason why I wouldn't go long like this is because the overall structure is still bearish. If you want to take a trade, obviously going short will give you a higher probability of success. So he go long here, actually nothing wrong, but we just have a different opinion. To me, price was merely just retracing deep, tapped at 95.78, strong continuation to the downside. And for me, I will still be looking for potential short to the downside. And right now, if you compare pound yen, see we are ranging on pound yen, euro yen, we are also ranging here. Aussie yen is on a clear downtrend. So if I were to choose again 1 yen pass to trade, especially to go short, Aussie yen will probably give me a clearer direction, right? And these are pretty much the two setups that I'm looking at this week. So expecting a TPF short to the downside. Why a TPF? Why not wait for another entry at 95.75? Because market has already came back and retested at 95.67. I didn't notice this, so missed out this one. If we were to look for a follow-up entry, the next one will be at pullback into 94.47. So since AJ, so it wouldn't be hard to get a TP, supposed to have a flexible TP, correct? TP wise, your first TP will be this swing low, not really hard to guide, Sheng Rong. You see, just from here to here itself is already how many pips? It's already almost 200 pips just to the swing low. And obviously, if Aussie yen is really weak, I believe the major support that we're looking at will be right around this 87 level. But that obviously is a very long thing. We don't have to look at such a far target first. So this swing low here will be our initial target. iPhone, what's your Telegram name again? I just want to ask, hey Neil, would there be a scale in opportunity if AJ breaks the swing low for a BNR? Let me see. Would there be a scale in opportunity? Yes, of course. For every momentum setup, for any trend continuation setup, as long as you have a very good price position, a very nice entry, a BNR will always be a scale in opportunity. Yeah, that's always the case. Would it be safer to wait for the BNR since I'm in a drawdown? To me, there's no such thing as safer. Yeah, you can think about probability in two ways. First one, if you wait for price to actually form a BNR, that means you are pretty late to the party, right? If price do this, then only you start going short. So you are actually sacrificing your price position. Yes, you can say it's safer, more confirmation, but does it really help anything? Not really. Yeah, as opposed to you trade a TPF short here, although I'm not sure, maybe your thought process is this is a little bit more aggressive short entry, but in terms of probability of success, they are both equal. Whether if you trade a BNR, whether if you trade a TPF, they are both equal because this is a continuation. This is a trend setup. It's a momentum setup. This is not like a reversal. If let's say today market is going up, and you want to randomly go TPF short, then I will always tell you just wait for BNR to go short. Because if it's short at the high of the TPF, that often can be a little bit too aggressive. But for this one, since it's a continuation setup, the overall trend is already bearish. Then obviously, if you were to short, I believe the TPF entry will be much better. So AJ also has a higher high and higher low. How do you differentiate that from normal bearishness? What do you mean by higher high, higher low? Where's the higher low? So Shenron, is it wrong to feel that short is high probability because it's at the range top compared to AJ? Price position is not everything. As much as we care a lot about price, I think we have a lesson on this one as well. Having a good price position is part of the criteria that makes it an A+ setup. Shenron, this one you know, right? But the key thing is, if let's say you were to merely look at a setup from a pure price position standpoint, then you are ultimately just gambling. Do you understand what I'm saying, Shengrong? Because you see, what makes it a good setup? The market structure has to be intact as per your analysis. The market direction, the pattern itself, the pattern execution, or it could be based on other assessment, could be correlation, could be DXY or whatever. All these, once you combine them, they give you an A+ setup. So if let's say you were to look at this and say, oh, I feel like pound yen and euro yen is better because of the price position, then it's not really a valid analysis. How can I say this? Yeah. Because based on our assessment right now, Aussie is a lot weaker than pound and euro. I mean, in terms of base currency, then obviously shorting Aussie yen will give us a higher probability of success. But higher probability of success doesn't guarantee a win. Yeah, that's still the thing. It doesn't mean it will definitely be a winner. It is added confluence, but it can't be everything because AJ is proving that it's just having more momentum. Yes, correct. Yeah. So if you look at let's have a look at pound yen and euro yen now together. Just remember, don't price position cannot be by its own, because if you only assess the setup quality based on price position, then it's like, so imagine today you go into the casino, you're playing the slot machine, right? All you do is you look for the jackpot figure. So whichever slot machine has a higher jackpot figure, you go for that one. But does it tell that this machine has a higher success rate? No, right? Sheng Rong, you get what I'm trying to say? This is what I mean by that, a very simple explanation. Just because the jackpot number is bigger, it doesn't mean it's a this slot machine you're going to win. You have a high chance of winning, right? Doesn't mean that way. So let's see euro yen. So euro yen is actually fine because we are in a pretty clean range. And if you was to go short, the only level I can see is perhaps a break below here, but is just a little bit difficult to frame a nice entry unless you actually see one that fits your setup. Anyway, I won't stop any of you to short pound yen on euro yen because I'm still bullish on the JPYX, means I'm bearish on the cross yens. Any pair is fine as long as they fit your setup. Yeah, just do it. Why not? Right? Yeah, you prefer for price to waiting for price in a range to go back up to the top range. Yeah. But imagine if, okay, let's say you see euro yen right now is sitting at one of these minor support here. We can say, see, we have a swing low, and we have a swing high, swing high, swing low here. Imagine if euro yen keeps going back to challenge this resistance is not, or is not really a very good sign as well. So you just imagine the price section, how would it look like? It's not super healthy as well. Pound yen, this one, yeah, you can also short it. Just make sure you know what you're doing. I won't stop any of you from doing that. Okay. So Benjamin, can you send in your chart? What do you mean by higher high and higher low? Yeah. Any other questions? So that's pretty much it from what I want to share. But yeah, let's talk about the MNQ first because many of you actually trade this. Um, done a retest here. Seems like price is forming a bear flag. Yeah, if you look at the daily as well. Because so if we were to assess MNQ, right? There are a few potential zones to go short. The first one is 29.57. But this zone seems like it's been tested and rejected. If you look at the 1L, you can actually see this. Can you all see this BNR here and a continuation? So it seems like it's been tested and rejected. So I don't expect MNQ to go back anymore. And in fact, if you look at the 4 hour, you can see a bear flag in formation, right? Just draw for you also see. It's quite a clean one. And from what I can see here, it actually matches with one of the key swing high as well. So if you're looking to trade, perhaps there's a short-term sell opportunity, but just remember, MNQ has been extremely strong for the past many, many months. So if you were to go short, just bear in mind, this is a mean reversion setup. Yeah. So besides that, let me quickly talk about gold as well, because many of you trade gold. So I'm not sure if Carrick is here, but one of our trader, Carrick, he's basically just ping pong that gold for the entire week. All I see is Carrick just ping pong long short go in the range here. You see, gold has been, you see, this is the price action on gold for the entire week. And I can see he actually shorted here based on I think he shorted based on the TPF, and he also somehow re-shorted here. Yeah, anyway, for gold, if you are standing from a short-term sell perspective, we have a BNR here again. So yeah, in case if any of you want to trade, you can also look at 33,024 level. But again, just remember, it has been extremely strong for the past many, many months, and in fact, 1 to 2 years. If you want to go short, just make sure it's a min reversion setup. Just make sure you manage your position. So Benjamin, oh, the current chart earlier that you were on, lower time frame, the TPF short you were targeting, the price action also has a high, high low. But sometimes I'm not sure whether when that is bullish versus a good shortable price action. Understand that the high time frame is bearish, but sometimes I go down into lower time frame. If you feel like you get confused going down onto lower time frame, just don't go into the lower time frame. That's what I can say, because most of the answer that you need, they can already be found on the minimum 1 hour. Most of the answers that you need on the 1 hour, it'll be very clear. So if you look at the 1 hour, you can just see this. You see, we have a head and we have a left shoulder, we have a head and a potential right shoulder. So it's again looking quite clean here. Okay. I have a main setup by C, wrong, possible AU short given Aussie weakness, TPF at. Okay, let me just roughly explain why I personally wouldn't go short on AU. So you see, I don't like to trade thing when I feel like there's a conflict in terms of the correlation, because DXY is overall still bearish, but all we are expecting is maybe it might pull back a little bit deeper into 104.70, right? So let's say DXY is clearly still bearish. Would I go short on Aussie dollar? I won't really do that, because to me, that's a little bit of conflict on my own analysis. I would much rather and say, since I'm bullish on the JPYX, and I can see very clearly that the Aussie is weak as well, why not I just short Aussie yen, right? Aussie is weak and the yen index is strong. That would again match entirely with my actual analysis. And that's the main reason why Wayne also asking the same thing. Would you consider AU short? Why wouldn't you consider AU short? Because there's a conflict with my own analysis. I wouldn't do that. If I were to choose short AU versus short AJ, obviously AJ, because yen index is, based on my analysis, is still bullish, is still intact, and Aussie is over weak, then Aussie yen short will be a much wiser choice, right? So Tai Hong say, hey Neil, sorry, back to Aussie and Pat. They'll be announcing the federal budget on Tuesday evening. Let's see then. Let's see. So Nabil, and also thanks for informing Tai Hong. Would it have effect on the pair? Definitely, but not something that we can predict. Let's just wait and see. Okay. So Nabil, Neil, would taking Aussie dollar and GA be considered high risk exposure or only cross yens? You mean taking them together? Is it? You mean you trade Aussie dollar and pound Aussie together? Do you mean by that, Nabil? Yeah, Shengrong, I understand what Benjamin was asking. Yeah, he was more on a lower time frame. I'm more on a higher time frame. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, Henry, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to explain. So DXY is clearly still bearish, although it's pulling back. So again, back to DXY, it's clearly bearish, but I've said this so many times. I'm not someone who will try to predict, oh, DXY is seems like it's slowing down, is exhausting. This pullback here, maybe let me frame a good timing to short the cross dollar pairs. I'm not someone like that. That's just not my trading style. If I see DXY clearly bearish, what I want to do is I want to continue buying the cross dollar pair. I just wait for pullback to continue going long. That's it. Okay. So back to Henry. Yes, correct. So Nabil, in terms of exposure, taking Aussie dollar and pound Aussie, although Aussie dollar is against the dollar, pound Aussie is against, it's pound versus the Aussie, but they are still considered correlated because they're same currency. You are still trading both the same currency. Let's say you were to short Aussie dollar, and on another side, you are buying pound Aussie, if let's say Aussie gains strength, both of your position will get stopped out straight away because both of them are correlated, right? So you just need to make sure you know exactly what you're doing. I wouldn't say you can't do it. Like you can actually trade AU. You can trade AU and GA together. It's fine. It is really fine. But the key thing is you just need to know what you're doing. Don't you here go long on for example, I'll just give you another example, Nabil. Let's say you go long on AU. At the same time, you go long on GA. What's the problem here, Nabil? Do you know what's the problem here? A very basic correlation kind of knowledge. Do you know what's the problem here, Nabil? If let's say you buy Aussie dollar, and on the other hand, you also buy pound Aussie. Hey, come on, don't answer for Nabil. Come on, let Nabil answer. My goodness, you guys are like in the classroom stealing answer. Please let Nabil answer. No, wait. Nabil, not the same. No, the thing is, you see, one side you are saying Aussie is strong, right? This side you buy Aussie dollar means you think Aussie dollar is strong. And then on another side, you you buy pound Aussie. This one, if you buy pound Aussie means you think Aussie is weak because you think pound is stronger than Aussie, right? So you think Aussie is weak. So again, conflict, like they say, conflict. So anyway, if when you trade two together, just make sure it doesn't have any conflict. That's it. Yeah. And even if they don't have any conflict, just know that one take a loss, another one is likely to take a loss as well, because both are Aussie related and they all both are depending on the strength slash weaknesses on Aussie. I won't, Sheng Rong, I won't. I've talked about this before. I don't like to split into half. I don't like to half the risk. I like to focus on one. Let me continue. So Benjamin asked, just curious, Neil, would you trade the DXY if you call JPYX? Not really. Actually, for me, I feel like trading the currency pair is more than enough. So Stephen, let's have a look at Stephen's question. What's your question just now, Stephen? You mean is it you see a TPF on gold and pound Aussie? Is it? Let me see. Yeah, they are valid. And short term, I do think gold is going to pull back. So yeah, that's a valid TPF. If some of you want to see, you can go to the chat. You can go to the chat box and see. Steven posted two charts here. Pound Aussie, yeah, is also printing a TPF, but I would still prefer Steven, don't touch Pound Aussie for now. Yeah, that's my suggestion. Because Pound Aussie seems still fairly strong. Yeah. Let me go to Gabriel's chart. Sorry, too many text. Let me see. So Gabriel say, miss this pound dollar entry. As I was waiting for price to pull to 130, 140, would it consider as a clean TPF sell at 130.50 instead? 130, wait, let me see. 130.50 will be, wait, you say one, let me see your levels again. Pound dollar. You mean this one, right, Gabriel? Is it? You mean here? Is it this one? Sorry, I'm trying to scroll back the chart. Not really. Okay, again, I have a different perspective from some of you. To me, right, buy Baldwin, buy. I would much rather continue going long because again, maybe we have a different perspective here. Some of you are looking to short pound dollar on the TPF, uh, just based on the TPF itself, right? What's the other confirmation? That's also my question. Like, is it just that TPF? Like, is there any other high time frame confirmation or anything that tells you you wanna short pound dollar? You know, the main reason why I'm still waiting for pullback, and in fact, quite a steep pullback into this 127 level to continue buying is because we've been correct on pound dollar for such a long time, right? So what for I want to go short? I'll much rather wait for the right timing to go long. That's just my thought process. But anyway, as long as as long as you have your own reasoning, obviously you can short into this TPF. It makes sense. Yeah, it indeed a valid TPF, but we just have a different perspective. So let me see again. Yeah, mean reversion, conservative TP trade idea. You can do it. Yeah, that's why I say Shengrong, Gabriel, and some of you asking, you can still do it. Let's say you want to go short on pound, or they can do it, but just make sure that TPF is not your only confirmation. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I just wanted to know if it was valid. But yes, it's valid. It's a valid TPF. But remember what else is the reason I want to take TPF other than just being a TPF? Yes, correct. Let me see. Vince sent a chart here. Let me see. Hi, Neil, can take a look at BTC. Is that TPF forming currently on a 4-hour time frame? Yeah, yes, correct. It's a valid one. Yeah, you can say this is a TPF. Makes sense. Yeah, correct, Vince. Since the entire market direction is quite bearish. So yeah, it's a valid one. Sharon say today participants less than 100. Really sad. Maybe Neo didn't have the upgrade Zoom plan. It's fine. I'll just claim it from you, Sharon. Yeah. So hey Neo, hey, but one thing I have to say, just now Sharon say one thing. Let me crop it out. I'm not against Sharon, right? I just love this kid. He's like the one that always asks the most question in the classroom, those kind of student that we don't like the most. Those kind of those, those kind of students where I always tell my friend, see that guy, you see. In Chinese we say 害人. Look, see parabolic overstretch condition 4H almost 90 degree. What the F is this? Like, what is a parabolic overstretch condition 4H almost 90 degree? Since when did I teach this kind of thing? My goodness. Are you in a physics class? Like 90 degree? You even come out in 90 degree? My goodness, Shen. Okay. Let me go back to the Q&A. So Benjamin asks, hi Neil, do you look for overextended TPF short? For example, on something like gold. Yes, I think I just covered this, Benjamin. Is quite yeah, if you want to go short on gold, it is possible. But right now it's more of a BNR. TPF was formed at 30, 30, 45, right? This one is not really one. So 30.45, there's a TPF here. If you want to trade, there's a BNR, but just know that the overall trend is still very strong. And this is only one attempt. Yeah. Size. He used ChatGPT. Henry saying maybe he means flush up candle instead. Yeah, I know. Henry, I know. Shenrong, I just like to tease Shenrong. He's quite a funny guy. Hai Qun Zima, yeah, correct. Right angle triangle. Yeah. Hey Neil, Nick say, hey Neil, don't know whether this was mentioned earlier as I joined the call late. What do you think about 128 level for pound dollar for BNR long? Let me see. 128. You mean this one, right? I assume this is also valid. Yeah, this is actually valid. So I think I forgot to cover this one. So on pound dollar, if you're looking for long, there's actually two potential level. Just remember as you join the call late, Nick, we are abandoning Aussie dollar for some time because the market simply is not moving much. So we put back our focus onto GU or EU and also on AJ and UJ. So pound dollar, there's two level. I forgot to mention this one. The first BNR will be 128. Another long entry level will be 126.90. So yeah, if you feel like you don't expect such a deep retracement, you can obviously just enter here at 128. But to me, I still prefer to see price responding or reacting at a key turning point here. To me, this 126.90 is much more probable. Get it, Nick? Yeah. So yeah, thanks for pointing out it's valid. So Benjamin, but you usually look for major resistance. Would you do such trade at all-time high? I don't really do this kind of long, this kind of short. Benjamin. So back to Benjamin's question. A very good question as well. All of you also know I don't recommend shorting into this kind of TPF. To me, is too aggressive in a way that price can continue just rip through highs, continue moving higher. That's what gold has been doing for the past many months. So right now, we are officially on the right side of the V, right? Then you can short the BNR at 30.25. Okay. So one more question before we close the session. Any question? Shenrong say your English is bad. Anyway, I shall unhear what I just heard. Yeah. Come, one more question. Yeah. So Henry first. Okay. So pull back to 127 for pound dollar. Will it be too weak? Not really. Not really. Because if you look at the price action on pound dollar, right? If you look at the daily, it won't be too weak. Yeah, because the overall trend is still very intact. You know, one thing I like about this 126.90 was the fact that previously when price revisit this level, the reaction was really nice. It was such a major turning point that if price were to come back again, I would definitely give this long an attempt because the probability is high. Okay, because price previously have done such a significant reaction, not just once, and also one time here, and also another. If I were to zoom out, I can also see here. Can you see, Henry? This level has been proven to be a very major turning point. So yeah, I really love the level. Yeah, I really enjoy having my entry leaning towards some of these significant turning point zone because these are what we call the true support level, the true support slash resistance. So Benjamin said, what grade TPF would that be? How much would you recommend risking for gold TPF and a BNR? Risk wise is all depending on your own trading plan. But what grade TPF would that be? There's no such thing as grade. A TPF is a TPF. It's just the quality of the setup. This is not going to be a A+ setup because the only thing you have is the TPF. There's no other confirmation. There's no any other thing. The only thing is literally just the TPF. So it's not good enough. Yeah. And then let me see. And risking just static 1%, especially if you're still learning. Dollar Swiss, would you consider on taking short if price pulls back into 0.89, 25, 89.25 dollar Swiss? Come on, this will be the last one. This will be the last question. Okay. 89.25 because I still have a meeting after this actually. So 89.25. Would you consider taking a short? Yeah, I will. Yeah, this is actually a very clean TPM. But for the time being, this is not my main focus yet. Yeah, I feel like if I were to trade, maybe going long on pound dollar would be a better option. But anyway, this is also an A plus setup. Yeah, just to let all of you know. So many ask, can you talk about mitigation? Out for this one, probably I have to cover it on lesson. It's quite a deep topic. But personally, I'm not, how can I say? I'm not a fool, a big promoter of complicating things like mitigation, all these things. Yeah, to me, it's a bit too complex. I like to keep things very simple. Some of the things that I really want to teach deep, it will be very confusing. And I feel like the thing about being a good leader, a good coach, is to make things very simple. When you start bringing up different terms like mitigation, I don't know, the fair value gap, all these things, right? Things become very complex. And there are times where once you add more things into trading, you actually perform poorer. So yeah. Let's see what else. What else? Hey, iPhone, what's your name on Telegram? You haven't tell me. This iPhone, would you be wary of the news Aussie CPI and dollar GDP, both affecting the Aussie and JPYX whilst entering Aussie yen in the week? What's your Telegram name again? I don't like it when I see like an iPhone there. I much prefer to know who am I speaking to. Ah, okay, you're Adam. Okay. Where have the new CPI and dollar GDP? Would you be wary of the news Aussie CPI and dollar GDP both affecting the Aussie and yen index while entering Aussie anyway? Yeah, but anyway, we just focus on the setup first. When the news come, if price really doesn't move or if we are already in a position, then we will make the decision later. Okay. No, back to Rafael. Just final question. Sorry. DXY and JPYX, they're actually a very good confluence if you know how to use it. Because if let's say sometimes I love analyzing DXY is because once I know what the direction the DXY is, it gives me more confidence that if let's say my analysis or my thesis on GU is also long, and that tells me that gives me a more firm answer, if you get it, Rafael. I'm not, is it Rafael? Yeah, Rafael. But that's basically it. To me, the only value of DXY and JPYX analysis is if they tally with the setup that I'm looking at, it gives me more confidence. That's it. But I don't try to, let's say if I say DXY is bearish, I won't try to predict, is it going to bounce off this level, go back here, turn back down. I don't complicate things like that. I make things very simple. Okay, Rafael? Yeah, you can also say it this way. That's why I've also said before, if let's say you feel like DXY and JPYX is not meaningful in your own analysis, you can don't use it. But to me, so far it's been adding value to my own analysis because when things match together, it just tells me that, oh, this is a an even high quality setup. Okay. And there really will be times where you see that DXY is really hitting a resistance and pound dollar is also hitting a support when you're looking to go long. And that timing itself will also give you another layer of confirmation, right? So there will really be timing like that, and that will give you more confirmation as well. So if you all remember DXY, when we first did this this TPF here at 107.53, that matches with many of your pound dollar long very well. I think it was right here. Some of you took long on pound dollar. Can you see how insane the momentum was? That's about the timing. If you know how to frame a correct timing on the DXY and also with the pairs that you're looking to trade or the JPYX, whatever, that will also give you another confidence, right? If there is no confirmation from DXY, but the pair you're trading is already forming a set of ways to take, we will still take it. But when things matches, it just gives you another layer of confirmation. But no matter what, the pattern itself, the setup itself is always our priority. Okay, Rafael? Okay, so yeah, that's it for the weekly call, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.